Okay, I just saw the notifications fire off, and I'm just going to do this for those of you that know. For those of you that watch the show all the time and get the
Adam Brown. Hello.
Message. Hello, Adam. How are you? You're new. Nice to see you here.
Sean the Orca Guy.
Hey, Sean.
Hell yeah, Nay is live. We are getting trendy AF.
We are getting trendy AF.
Patrick John Welder.
Hey, Patrick John Welder.
Hey, Nay.
Do you guys see this?
Good to see you.
See that right there? We have a visitor. Someone wanted to hang out with us whilst we did the podcasting today. Hey, it's quarter of the hour. Look at that. Those of you who watch the show, pay attention and live through all of my garbage.
Ryan Webb.
Thank you.
Hey, Nay, what's going on?
Hey, Ryan, what's up, buddy? Number one, thank you for putting up with me and all my bullshit. Number two, for those of you who watch the show, you guys know that a few days ago I really injured myself. Just pulled a muscle above my hip, and it went right through to my rib. And I was uncomfortable for the first few days. I had to take Advil just to sleep at night and stuff. And that injury is almost completely healed. It's been about 4 or 5 days. I don't know the day that Dino got here, but that was the day we unloaded. So it must have been Thursday or Friday. Maybe Friday. Yeah, and then they stayed Saturday and then Sunday. Yeah, so it was Friday. And today is what? Wednesday? Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So 5 days ago, when we unloaded that truck, man, I twisted myself and I did, hey, John.
Good evening, Nay.
Hey, John. And I just did something, some damaged my, whatever, a muscle right through here. And I kind of stopped working out, and taking it easy. And, it's hard for me to take it easy because all this stuff just came in. I've been going through boxes and trying to go through the garage and a million things, man. I don't want to talk about it all, but I just will say this. I'm feeling a lot better, man. The pain is almost completely gone. I did 50 push-ups this morning. I've been taking it easy. I was down to 181 pounds, though, this morning, too, which made me really happy. So I'm going to keep going. I want to get down to like 155, maybe 160. I want to get really, really, really light, if it's possible. I just want to see how much more of this I can lose, man. And I don't want to be able to have this belly fat. I don't want to be able to grab a hold of belly fat here.
Bonsai House.
Gone. Hey, Billy.
Evening.
So I'll let you guys know if that works out for me, because
John
I
Combs.
want to get down, man.
Glad you are feeling better. Getting older sucks.
I know, man. It does. For me, getting older is cool, man, because as I've been getting older, I've been getting better. So I'm in the best shape of my life, man. Today, I'm in the best shape of my life. And I can say that every day, every next day, I'm in the best shape of my life, bro. Hey, Bees, you coming back, buddy? Come on in, Bees. Come on in. Yeah. We got the bees. I got a really good video of the bees and the mini bees today. So cute, man. I'm in a private group on Facebook. I shared it there, but I'll probably share some of these videos. I've been making a lot of videos lately, short videos, and I'll probably be putting them up on my Twitter. So make sure you follow @NaysGarden if you want to see all the cool stuff that I'm doing.
Shout out to Beasel.
The Beasel. Okay, what else? I was thinking about Flar Par. I was also thinking about telling you why I'm such a great grower today.
John Combs.
Gonna give you a little anecdote.
Hell yeah, brother, keep up the advancement.
Thank you, John. So I'm in another group on Facebook, and it's a growers group, and people, when they have grow problems.
Enoch YU Beaslin 420. Yo, son.
Yo, Enoch, what's up? People, when they're growing, they'll put up a they'll put up a post and they'll show their plant, and then 100 people will respond with the wrong answer of what their problem is. Oh, that's mold. Oh, that's bud rot. Oh, whatever. No, it's not. It's hemp russet mites, but none of you guys even know what hemp russet mites are, and none of you would know. So I'm going to go in there and I'm going to tell you. But the thing that drives me crazy is all these people giving responses and telling this guy to go kill the plant because it's mold. Kill the plant, you've got mold. How about this? Treat the mold, save the plant. You ever heard that one before? Kill the mold. You can do that, man. You can kill the frickin' mold. But I'm not going to get into all these texts. I'm just going to say you could do that. You don't wipe out your grow just the first sign of mold. Number one. Number two, mold is
Ryan Webb.
White.
You definitely know how to ow the power. Remember you stuck in Cali.
Right? Mold is this white. That's why they call it powdery mildew on buds. It's white, like a white powder. This is what it looks like. White, like the lid of this jar. It's not red like hemp russet mites are when they group together. But 100 people, oh, it's mold, kill the plant. Oh, it's botrytis, kill the plant. 100 people, and I have to go in there and be like, no, it's not. It's hemp russet mites. You need to use JCM stylet oil, okay? You need to use it in a very low concentration until they start dying, and then you know exactly how much to use with water, with your spray. Do not kill the plants. Your plants will still be smokable. You just want to get the mites off of it.
Bonsai house.
So you can keep growing.
My kid decided she wanted to make mud puddles with the hose. So to remedy the issue, I told her which plants she can get as wet as she wants.
Boom.
Boom.
Parenting.
Ping.
That's hilarious. Hey, my deer got up and walked away. I didn't notice the deer got up and walked away.
Enoch YU Beaslin 420. So much misinformation, son, it's getting nuts.
Well, just to show you that there's so many people out there in the cannabis community, they're just as dumb as every other misinformant out there on the internet. They're just as dumb. Smoking cannabis doesn't make you a genius. And so many people, oh, I know so much about it. Oh, I see there's something wrong with that plant. It must be mold. Kill the plant. It's no good anymore. Get rid of all of your buds and start all over again from scratch, even though you just spent the last, 3 or 4 months growing that from a frickin' seed.
Sean the
People
Orchid
are morons.
Be crazy if the deer stuck its head in the window to say hello.
I know, it'd be nice. I'd pet it. Do you want to know why I know more about bud afflictions than anyone else in this cannabis growers group? Because I moved to NorCal 13, 14 years ago, and I started growing the day I got there. I moved in with a grower, then I lived.
Nobody wants to listen and learn. They think they know it all.
I know, right, John? Well, let them. At least my audience will know. You guys will know how to grow. You guys will know what hemp russet mites look like. And you guys will know not to destroy a plant that's not got mold on it, because you'll know that mold is this white. This is as white. This is what powdery mildew looks like. It's bright white. If it's red, then it's hemp russet. It looks more like this color. Hemp russet mite. It's like an off red. It's like almost like a tea color, like this. If your leaves look like that, that's hemp russet, and there's a lot of them, and you just got to kill them, man. I did a whole video. I put the video up. I figured out that I could use alcohol, but that was 50-50. You never want to spray 50-50 alcohol on your plants.
Big ass plants they were as well in Cali.
And I got hemp russet mites while I was out there, and I learned how to deal with them with JMC or JCM. I can't remember which one it was. It's JMC Stylet Oil. Or JCM Stylet Oil. I think it's JCM. JCM Stylet Oil. But a very small amount. That is one of the only things.
Make Krillin great again. The Globfather.
Hey, Krylon.
What's up, Nay?
What's up? Yeah, I got my shirt back from Cali, baby, along with a bunch of other things, too. Man, I got my Cadillac cleaned up today, and I'm so happy. Yeah, there's a couple things broken inside it, so I'm going to have to order some parts and whatever. But otherwise, I'm good. Cool. So let's get to the smoking section. Can we call this the smoking section from now on? We're going to change the name of this broadcast.
Sean the Orca guy.
The smoking section.
Hey, if Kansas ever legalizes
With
owing,
Trendy
I'd
Nay.
make sure I'd only trust Nay's owing advice.
Just not
Make
for my
Krillin great again. Hell yeah, bro.
just not for my older videos, because I was telling people to spray 50-50 alcohol and water on the plants.
Definitely.
And I learned later, oh, don't do that, because you will kill your plants. If you spray 50% alcohol, 50% water on your plants, they will be dead within 24 hours. So don't do it. And that's what I was saying in that video. But I did learn that it does kill them. It does kill the hemp russet mites, but it doesn't need to be that much of a concentration of alcohol.
Nick Brown.
It might be as little as 1%.
Hey, bro.
Hey, Nick, what's up, buddy? Good to see you. I'm so glad you're here. Chat paused for scrolling.
Sean the Orca guy. Hashtag the smoking section. Hashtag get on board with this.
Hell yeah. Dry and light kills mold. Arafat, Nakba, what's up, buddy? You're a phenomenal grower, bro. No one else I know has grown 100 pounds, that's for sure. Oh, thanks, buddy. Hey, Nate, try hot water on it in the shower. Keep it till the pain goes away in a few days. Oh, thanks, buddy. Thank you, Arafat. No, I'm good, man. I took some Advil a few days when I needed it, and I don't need it anymore, man. I'm doing really good. That's what I was going to tell you guys. I haven't been working out. Like I usually, work out really hard in the mornings.
Ha 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 ha. Try putting salt water on your tomatoes. Yum yum. LOL.
Right? So, you live and learn, and that was an older video, but, the next day I realized, I was like, okay, it killed the hemp russet mites, it also killed my plants. That's not the intended result there. But like I said, why do I know more about bud afflictions? It's because I've lived through every single one of them, man. I've had it all. I've had to deal with it all. I had to learn how to diagnose and to treat and to, recuperate whatever I had left and make something out of it.
Beaslin 420. Damn, I think I muted the stream.
Okay, do you hear me now? Oh, I am so sorry, Harles. 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 I know that's hard to see because it's dark.
Bonsai house. One good remedy for spider mites is a roofing torch. You'll win, but at what cost?
You'll get high. You get high too. You'll win and you'll be high. I've shown you guys this 3 times. I've shown you this thing 3 times, like this. Hold it up to the camera. 3 times. This is the 3rd time. Bye, Lusta. Thank you. Have a good night. It's been sitting here.
Enoch YU Beaslin 420.
Here's damn
it was
TV.
my damn TV.
Damn that TV. I damn thee. For all of its horribleness, I damn thee. Should we go with the U.S. tubes?
Bonsai house. Is that a fart pressure meter?
No, it is not. It actually has a lot more meaning than that, Billy, but thank you. Thanks for trying to be funny about something that's very, very serious. You couldn't possibly known that that was the pressure gauge that was on my friend's
Sean the Orca guy. Hashtag I damn thee.
Closed loop system when it blew up and killed him. And his uncle gave me that because it's one of the only things that was left in that fucking fire. So that I'd have something to remember his nephew by. Pretty heavy, huh? Thing is I was just testing my audience. I didn't say anything. I just held the object up 3 times.
Bonsai
over
house.
every day.
Oh, I didn't know.
I know. But every time I held it up, no one ever asked me what it was.
I'm sorry.
Thank you. I appreciate
Ryan
that.
Webb.
Thank you. His
Fuck
name was
man,
Cliff.
sorry.
He was awesome. He used to make some badass dank concentrates. And he had just made me a giant batch right before this explosion happened. And it just blows my mind that I would hold something like this up to the chat and just not say anything. Just hold it up. I did it while I was doing a bong hit 2 days ago. Yesterday I just held it up and showed it to you. And I was testing my audience to see if anybody was going to ask me what the fuck I was doing holding this thing up. Just to see how interested you guys were in the show, you know, and nobody said anything. Not a single, nobody was curious or nothing. I'm like, why do you think I'm holding this thing up and putting it in the camera for you guys and nobody... And I did it for long enough so people would see. And I'm like, isn't somebody going to ask me? I'm just trying to prove something to myself here, you know? You know, participate, pay attention, talk to me.
Sean the Orca guy. I thought you would explain when you were in the mood to explain LOL whoops.
Yeah, or you could have just asked me why I kept holding this fucking object up to the camera. Because I kept doing it. You know, you could talk to me, people.
Bonsai House.
So much better when you talk to me.
You should associate it with something positive in his life. This way when you look at it, you smile.
Yeah, no. It's unfortunately, bro, it was in part of the reason he's dead. And you know, it reminds me that butane is fucking dangerous as fuck. And when I see people that are experimenting around and blasting indoors and doing things like that, I've got this to remind myself that you can die if you don't know what the fuck you're doing. It happened to a very close friend of mine. And even though we talked about that multiple times...
Ryan Webb.
Do you know I've got a...
Wish I saw the previous video. I would have asked what the it was.
What the fuck it was? Oh, sure, Ryan. Sure, you would have. You know. It's okay. It's okay. I was just wanting to see if my audience was inquisitive about me. I was like, I wonder if they really do care about me or not. You know, I started this new joke. It's fans don't care about your feelings. You know, and I'm looking to be proven wrong, and I just fucking hope you guys can prove me wrong. You know, that's all I want. I just want to be wrong about this. Fans don't care about your feelings. I want to be wrong. You guys can prove me wrong. So, I hope you prove me wrong over the next few weeks. Yeah, I'd like to know that you guys care about my feelings, you know? Remember, if you care about my feelings, one of the greatest ways you can do that is to go to Twitter and support me over there. And that's, you know, it'd be great if you would just blindly
then
retweet me. That
or
would be
it'll give you
amazing.
an- That's voluntary pissed offness. Bad for the blood pressure. This is me caring about you.
No, bro, I just explained it. Okay, I'll explain it one more time because I don't think you got me. This thing, my friend died in an explosion, in a butane explosion while he was blasting. Okay? This might save somebody else's life. Now, if I were to make that into some positive
Ryan Webb.
aspect of
Have
Cliff,
watched your videos and listened
which,
and learned from
trust
Cali
me
to
when I
Florida,
tell
bro.
you, I've got days and days and days of memories of Cliff, okay? He's not going to be forgotten, and all the wonderful things he's ever done won't be forgotten. I don't need to associate this thing with anything else except for the fact that he was blasting indoors and he got fucking killed. He was murdered by fucking butane. And, if that saves somebody's life in the future, that's what Cliff would want. You know, I know him well enough to know that that's what he would want. He would want this to save somebody's life.
AHHIC.
Yeah, cool. So we got it now. Good. We can smoke. No law regarding cannabis. We're going to try to save lives, man. Save lives. I mean, that's it. It's, you know, if I can do something that's going to save a life, you guys are going to try to do something stupid indoors. Don't. You could end up like my friend Cliff. Do it outside. Always outside. If you're going to fucking blast with butane, do it outside. Okay? Don't do it around an open flame. Don't smoke cigarettes. None of that shit. And there's plenty of other safer ways that you can concentrate now that we know about where you don't even have to use butane. Learn about all those. Look into it.
Ryan Webb. Education definitely needed with butane.
I've always wondered if... My dog's snoring. He's beasling. Always wondered if all these butane explosions
Bonsai House.
I've seen...
Cheers, mystery wonderful hybrid.
All of these explosions I've seen on the internet, I always wondered, were any of those explosions by people...
People still open blasting indoors?
That saw a video that I did on YouTube, and then they went and they did, and they didn't listen to everything I said, and then they blew themselves up. God, I hope not. You know, a lot of my blasting videos had a lot of views, and not a lot of people would show blasting on YouTube. But now I regret it because people are idiots. And when I thought I was teaching people stuff, what I think I ended up doing was I just had people go and try to experiment and do shit on their own and end up fucking hurting themselves. Who knows? I don't know. But, it's a fucking crazy life we live in, isn't it? Ugh. All right, no Larry Gunny Cannabis. Cheers, everybody.
Enoch YU Beaslin 420. This dab is for all the ones that left too soon. Cheers. Hashtag NLRC. Hashtag cannabisismtisms for all.
I'm gonna pour some bong water out for my homies. Fans don't care about your feelings. I love that. If I was just a fucking bot, if I was just a goddamn robot, if I just came on here and did content, never got personal with you guys, I'd probably be so popular. I don't know. I thought getting personal with you was part of the attraction, man. I think I got it wrong.
Shadi Orkagot. Well said. Cheers to all that have gone before us. We salute you all.
Senator Rick Scott, Florida, issued a travel advisory on his own Tuesday after the NAACP warned LGBTQ plus and black travelers against visiting Florida.
Good evening.
Hello, Kevin. So the NAACP has warned LGBTQ plus and black travelers against visiting Florida. I could say that a few more times, and I'm going to keep saying it, I guess, until somebody says something in my chat about it. The NAACP warned LGBTQ plus and black travelers against visiting Florida. Once again, I'm going to say it again until I get a response in the chat. The NAACP issued a warning for the LGBTQ plus and black communities not to travel to the state, the entire state of Florida, where Disney World is, where the beaches are, where the Keys are, which is a well-known LGBTQ friendly place.
Sean the Orca guy. That's insane.
Right, Sean? You're right. It's insane. Anybody else want to say anything while the floor is opened up?
Bonsai House. I AEE with them. I'd put Tennessee and Georgia on that list.
Well, I agree with them too, but
Kevin
it's
Lexnar.
sad that we have to agree with them.
Crazy.
Isn't that
John
sad?
Combs. Sound like racism and discrimination to keep certain people out.
Yes. Yeah. Right? Doesn't it sound like that? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Fuck. Thank you. Thank you for talking to me, man, and responding in the chat. You know, some of these podcasters, they've got so many people responding, they can't even read through
John
all the
Combs.
chats.
Also see where they're coming down on target.
The chats just fly by like lightning, and they don't get to see all the chat, man. I try to read and pay attention to every single one of your chats in here, man. I'm not like every other podcaster. You know, I'm a little different in that regard.
LGBT are protesting in Florida right now.
And maybe that's why I'm so angry all the time, is because I do sort through these, and I get trolled, and I have to deal with people that are not thinking or paying attention or just being dumb sometimes. But you're not going to get this kind of attention on any other goddamn fucking podcast, man. I swear. You're not going to find anybody else that's reading through all the chats like this. And if you are, let's go there right now. Let's go see how their content is. You know? I want to know who's doing it. You know, not super chats. Not paid chat. Not every couple of minutes, oh, there's one chat that you know, really is good. No, it's every fucking chat, right? You read it, it gets read out loud on my live stream.
Bonsai House. It's been clear to me that since desegation, there has been a new plan in the works to start a weird click war.
What do you mean by click war? Dude, I'd like to call this the nervous breakdown with Nay. Dude, the nervous breakdown with Nay. What do you guys think? That's the name of this podcast now. Is that original? Dude, I think it's about the name. The nervous breakdown with Nay. Yeah, that's me, baby. All right, 12. Let's do 13:30. 13:30. Okay, kids. What do you mean by click war? God, we went off on the first sentence we didn't get past the first sentence of this article. This happens all the time. I can get content out of just a puddle of mud, bro. Senator, I got content out of this. Senator Rick Scott issued a travel advisory of his own Tuesday after the NAACP warned LGBTQ+ and black travelers against visiting Florida. Cut. That's it. That's all I needed.
Bonsai House.
And then we were off and running.
I mean divops, whether it be race, sex, sexual preference, etc.
I don't need a lot of fuel for my fire.
Bonsai House. Clicks.
Right. Segre, I gotcha. Clicks, that's yeah. I gotcha. No law regarding cannabis, everybody. 13:30. Cheers.
John Combs. To each their own, as long as they don't push their bull on me they will be fine. I love all until you give me reason not to, then that's on you.
What if I push facts and science on you? Is that better? I like facts and science, not bullshit. I like data. I like the polling. I like the opinions of the masses. I like to take that data and find all the facts. But the GOP senator aimed his snarky message at President Joe Biden. And I quote, Florida is openly hostile towards socialists, communists.
John Combs. Nothing better than facts and science.
Thank you, John. And those that enable them, the senator wrote. Before traveling to Florida, please understand that the state of Florida devalues and marginalizes the contributions of and the challenges faced by socialists and others who work in the Biden administration. End quote. Quote again, let me be clear, any attempts to spread the oppression and poverty that socialism always brings will be rebuffed by the people of Florida. He continued.
Bonsai House. John, you and everyone else push their and your own opinions. If you want to talk, you have to listen.
That's well said, Billy. I bet you John would agree with that. If you want to talk, you have to listen. I like that. That's why I stopped talking when you guys are talking. I'm a good listener. The Listening with Nay. Hey, we're going to change this podcast to The Listening with Nay because I listen to my audience. Audience opinions in the garden.
John Combs.
I like the nervous breakdown.
I listen way more than I talk.
I talk more than I listen, but I think I've done enough listening. I'm old enough to say I've listened enough. And I think I'm ready to be at the point where people are ready to listen to me now, you know? But if somebody's got something good to add, I'll give you the floor. I'm always willing to listen to anything, to anybody. At some point, I'm going to hear something I agree
Bonsai
with,
House.
and it's going to freak me out.
Thumbs.
And that's kind of a shocker sometimes. And that's kind of fun for me. If I hate somebody and they say something that I agree with, I have to say, yes, I agree with that point. Do you know how many people won't do that? Let me give you an example. Your football team gets a really good call that was a bad call against the other team. And you win the game. You know, personally, that it was a bad call. It's all on video. You saw the whole thing from every angle. You know it was a bad call. But the ref made a horrible mistake, and the other team knows it, and you know it, and now the ref goes back and sees the video, but it's too late. They know it, but your team won. How do you feel about it? Answers in the chat. Let's see those answers in the chat. Dude, I am so down with the nervous breakdown with Nay. The nervous breakdown with Nay. I like it. Did you guys like that? I want to change my show name to the Nervous
Bonsai
Breakdown
House.
name.
I feel ashamed that I caught up in sports ball.
Make sure you guys all catch up to the live stream. If you're behind, fast forward it so we're all in real time, okay? Because nobody's answering, and maybe it's because you guys are way behind or something. Travelers should be aware that attempts to spread socialism in North Florida will fail and be met with laughter and mockery. I mean, how many socialist programs does Rick Scott's America use?
Bonsai House.
You know, the military.
Heck sports though. So dumb.
The military is socialist. Actually, the military, when you think about the way it's set up for the soldiers, it's kind of communal, isn't it? Think about that. Do you have a... You're in the military. You live... You're not an officer and a gentleman. You're a scrub. You're the bottom
Fast
of the
money
barrel.
Fendi. What's a butt affliction?
Fast money Fendi. Butt affliction would be hemp russet mites. You're in the military and you're, you're a corporal. You're under a corporal. What's under a corporal? Recruit. You're a recruit. Or you're a recruit.
Fast money Fendi. Oh, thanks for info.
You're in the barracks. You're in the... What is the lowest ranking military officer? What is the lowest ranking military rank? What's the lowest rank in the military? You're a... Rogan, are you farting? God, I don't want to find out. Oh my God.
Benjamin 66. Private.
Private.
John Combs. Private.
Private. Yes. Private.
Bonsai House. Privates.
You're a private.
Fast money
How
Fendi.
many privates are in the military?
Private. Bonsai House.
All right, let's find out. We're
Likey
going to have a
nuts.
little fun right now.
Hoot and howl.
You guys want to have fun with Nervous
Happy
Breakdown with
face.
Nay? Nobody likes the Nervous Breakdown with Nay? I don't know why you guys don't like it.
Fast money Fendi. Private first class.
Private. Okay, Google. How many privates are in the U.S. military?
Here is information from InfoPlease.
Okay, so let's say there's 49,000 privates. No, there's a lot more. Holy shit. So there's 3 ranks, E1, E2, E3. That's 183,000 plus 70,000 plus
Privates are named
49,000.
after genitals.
My bad. Dude, that's hilarious. Here, let me just do the math. I'm going to just get the numbers for you really quick, okay? Here it is. Not exact. 183,000 plus 70,000 plus 49.
Fast money Fendi.
49.
Way more than that, or forgetting about Army
Plus
Reserve.
50,000 because of all the other ones equals 3. Okay, so let's just say 300,000. There's 300,000 people right there. Okay, that's enough for a community, right? 300,000. You got 300,000 people. Do they get to say where they sleep at night? Do they get to say what kind of clothes they wear? Do they get a choice over the food that they eat? Do they get a choice over where they go and what kind of work they're going to do for that day? Would you say they're given all the same clothes? They might have to stand in line at the commissary to get items.
Fast money Fendi. Yes.
What does that sound like to you? They're all communing in the same bunk together, the same barracks together. They're communing. What's that sound like to you?
Bonsai House.
What's that sound like to you?
There are 7.25 billion sets of privates on the planet, not counting animal privates. Or bugs too.
What's that sound like to you? They're all communing together. They're all eating the same foods. They're all having to do an exercise routine and follow what they're being told. They have to report to work. And they better do it, or there's punishment if they don't. And they'll go to the brig, right? They'll go to get decommissioned or dishonorably discharged, right? What does that sound like to you? Where you've got 300,000 people that are all living in barracks in the same type of housing, being taken care of by the government, being fed by the government, communing together. What does that say? Okay, thank you. God, Arafat. Yo, Arafat, are you with me? I think Arafat got it. None of you can answer this, huh? What kind of form of government? If you were going to say the United States military has like a special kind of governing system that resembles what sort of governance that you've heard of before? How's that for a question, guys? Who's going to show me how smart they are tonight? They're all communing together in barracks. They're all eating the same food. They're all wearing the same clothes. They're all driving the same vehicles. What sort of governance?
RV living Silicon Valley.
Yeah,
home of
thank you,
people.
honey. I love you.
Communism.
Marry me.
Fast
I'm
money
proposing.
spending. When you're in the service and get a charge, you're automatically discharged and pushed to a worse DBC or held to uphold a higher standard. Welcome to America. Used to be a sergeant in the army.
Can you believe the amount of effort I put into trying to get someone to say communism? So, Rick Scott, who's all worried about socialism, he's got a fucking communist goddamn military. You know, he's got the United States Postal Service, which is a government-run agency that transports messages for everyone. They also get to regulate the transport of that. What sort of a program is that? It is a socialist program. So, you know, Rick Scott is delusional. And the rest of you should look at Rick Scott like he is a fucking idiot. When you look at Rick Scott, he should look like a giant fucking ostrich to you. Okay? When you look at Rick Scott, he should look just like a fucking giant ostrich that should stick his fucking head in the sand. Because, you know, it would be way better than up his ass, which is where he has it now. You tell me. You fucking tell me. I'm an idiot. How's that? Fucking Rick Scott. So he says that socialism and communism isn't welcome here in the United States. And I would ask him, what the fuck is your military doing all living together, wearing the same clothes, eating the same food, driving the same vehicles, working where people tell them they're going to work while they're in that fucking service and getting punished if they don't fucking do it? What do you call that, you fucking cunt? What do you fucking call
Christopher
that?
Floor. That was funny.
Thank you, Christopher. Christopher. I bow for you, Christopher. Thank you. I'm not worthy. Christopher. Thank you. Wow. So, it's amazing, huh? Thank you. Trying to entertain you guys. It would be nice if you would recognize that I'm entertaining you, you know, if I'm entertaining you. Christopher was the only one who thought, hey, man, and besides Arafat, probably. Special ed on the crankakers. Yeah, special ed, yeah. Hey, yes, that's special ed. Hey, Arafat, bro, why don't you come over to my other fucking chat, bro? Why don't you come over to YouTube, man? So I can hear you. I keep not seeing you over. Seriously, man, I like that you're on Kick. I do, and I appreciate you doing that. But,
Bonsai
man,
house.
you know...
Sorry I had to do an emergency B-Day session. I ate bad pizza.
I'll bet you did. It's okay, Billy, man. It's the problem isn't getting people to respond. It's getting more people here so that there are more people that would be available to respond. It's the low numbers, bro. It kills this fucking show every time. I just can't get people to participate, bro. I mean, I'm literally telling you about somebody who is telling you that socialism and communism aren't welcome in the state of Florida. I'm in the state of Florida. I'm here to tell you that the United States military is socialist communist. The United States Postal Service is socialist for sure. And, oh, what's that other thing that we talk about? What is that called? The thing that pays people off after they're done working. Social something. What is that thing? It's a socialist program, isn't it? The thing that pays you money after you retire. What's that program called? It's something. What is that? Someone in the chat? Anyone know what that's called? Anyone at all? I'm really calling upon the chat to participate tonight, looking for responses. What?
Bonsai house. Nazism.
No, not Nazism, Billy. Try again, Billy. I got something in my mouth. I think I got it. Oh, Billy, listen.
Arafat Nakba. I'm not social because I rock security, hey nay.
Hey, Arafat Nakba, you got it. It's called Social Security. What about that program, you stupid fucking cunt? That's a socialist program. So we're a democratic, we're a socialist democracy, or a democratic socialist, whatever the fuck you want to call it. We were running some huge socialist programs. Our military is socialist. Our post office is socialist. Social Security is socialist. Let's go through this article and see what people had to say about it. More tools. Fuck off.
Senator Rick Scott, Republican Florida, issued a travel advisory of his own Tuesday.
Hold on a second.
Bonsai house. COVID relief is socialist.
Sounds like it to me.
Arafat Nakba. Socialism is a idea, but who's gonna pay for it?
Arafat,
Cheers.
thank you so much for coming over here, bro. Thank you for coming over here.
After the NAACP warned LGBTQ+ and black travelers against visiting Florida. But the GOP senator aimed his snarky message at President Joe Biden. Florida is openly hostile towards socialists, communists, and those that enable them, the senator wrote. Before traveling to Florida, please understand that the state of Florida devalues and marginalizes the contributions of and the challenges faced by socialists and others who work in the Biden administration. Let me be clear, any attempts to spread the oppression and poverty that socialism always brings will be rebuffed by the people of Florida, he continued. Travelers should be aware that attempts to spread socialism in North Florida will fail and be met with laughter and mockery. Scott somewhat mimics the NAACP travel warning released Saturday. The group's notice said that Florida under Governor Ron DeSantis, R., is openly hostile toward African Americans, people of color, and LGBTQ+ individuals. Other groups have shared similar advisories recently. DeSantis has led efforts to restrict or undermine drag shows, gender-affirming care, discussion of sexual orientation and gender identity in schools, and the teaching of Black history, especially racism. Critics were not impressed with Scott's parody. "Can you be professional?" one person on Twitter wrote. "You need to hire better writers," wrote another.
Really?
See more responses below. Related. NAACP warns against travel to Florida over DeSantis' openly hostile.
Read 21. What's this supposed to achieve? Did you really think this was either pointed or amusing? Because yikes, you need to hire better writers. I miss the old Florida. You might remember it. Everybody felt welcome. It was fun. You Republicans have achieved your goal in branding Florida as a mean, restrictive, unfriendly place. I would completely agree with that. I left here, everything was fine. When I came back, it was all turned to shit.
Arafat Nakba. No problem, I think I can exercise enough control not to start breaking all them YouTube guidelines. They're worse than the army with rules and regulations, brother.
Yeah, man. Do what you gotta do, bro. Make it work for me. Because I really need that chat going off, man. And you talk a lot on Kick, man. And everything you say makes sense, or it has something to do with what's going on in the show. You're one of the few people that's paying attention and interacting in the chat, like, constantly. There's only a few people that do that, you know, that keep it going for me. And I need the help, man. I'm fucking nervous breakdown with Nay, buddy. That's what this is. Every show. Do you hear that? That can't be good. That can't be good. I don't know what that is, but I don't think it's good. You know? That's what I'm saying. I don't think it's good, man. I don't think it's good. It's not good. Is there anything else here? Read replies. No, that's it. It sucks.
Arafat Nakba. You're one of the few people who understand me. You're not having a nervous breakdown. You just see and understand more than most.
Oh no, dude, I'm having a nervous breakdown. Trust me, it won't stop. It's fucking horrible, bro. You have no idea. Oh man, I'm just barely fucking holding myself together, man, these days. I'm completely out of fucking control.
Or something.
Arafat Nakba. That sounds like me on sativa concentrates 3 months ago.
Sativa concentrates. You sound like you're not smoking anymore. My next question, and my only question, is what am I smoking next? And I think it's
Bonsai House.
strawberry banana.
Sativa concentrates. Stop talking so dirty.
Dirty. Dude, Big Jim just outdid himself, man. Come on, Big Jim. Bro. What are you, crazy, man? What did you do, Big Jim? Why you Big Jimming me, Big Jim? Oh, Big Jim, why you Big Jimming? Big Jiminy, Big Jim.
Arafat Nakba.
No,
I
Big
got
Jiminy.
notes, lots and lots of pages of notes from that. RV Living, Silicon Valley, home of
RV
Google.
living.
Why do you have a picture of your crotch zoomed in? Are you aware?
Oh, no. Thank you. I did not.
Bonsai House. For an Oz of Incredible
Thank
Hulk
you.
live resin, I would dance with an old midget.
I didn't know that was there. I'm so sorry. That is classless and tasteless, and I didn't know it was that. I didn't know it was there. You're the only, maybe you're the only person that saw it, but no one else said anything. It happens. It's a picture of me doing a dip in this chair with my shirt off, and for some reason it keeps coming up on that page.
Arafat Nakba. Billy, what you doing with your toe cheese? You should put some coconut oils on M. Oh, I stopped concentrates too. Just indica flower now and indica hybrid.
Ah, okay.
Bonsai House. Ha 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 ha. It's been on OnlyFans for 30 minutes.
That's so funny. I'm gonna burn you to life now. That is the darkness that blinds you. Out of the dark that blinds you. Can you see like a child? All right. 42, 52, 42, 40. So it's going to be 44. We'll do 44. We're doing 44. Hey, we're doing 44.
Bonsai House. I got bad toe cheese. Ever since Nakba's mom used my shower.
Oh, yes, he totally went down. No law regarding cannabis. It's 44. Cheers, everybody. Big dab. Big dab.
Arafat Nakba. Coconut oil can take that toe fungus right out of your cheese, brother. Cheers. Bonsai House. I'm just playing around. Don't give a shit.
Yeah, the coconut oil does work on athlete's foot, but I don't know if it's because I'm putting a little bit of THC oil and peppermint oil in there too. It could be one of those two things as well. Or it could be all three of them together, or maybe it is just the coconut oil. But it works on athlete's foot for sure. I'm gonna ask Destiny if I can give him a guitar lesson.
More like young conservatives, for example, are decently pro-gay. Like they just don't really care about
he's talking to
homosexuality
somebody
at all. Whereas like
Yeah,
if
I
you
don't know.
went
I wouldn't
back,
call
like,
them
30
I didn't realize he was talking to somebody. My bad. I'm not gonna ask him. I thought he was just hanging out.
Bonsai House. Is it okay to eat 3 pounds of bacon in 3 days?
I think so. Yes, I would say yes. Yes. I would say yes. That's what I would say. I don't know if I'm right. But, you know, bacon's got really good properties in it. It can really help, actually. If you drain all the fat out of it, you cook and drain all the fat, as much as the fat out as you can, it's actually pretty healthy.
Bonsai House. Okay then, feck it. I'ma die anyway.
That's what Dino says
Arafat
when
Nakba.
he eats all that sugar.
When I looked down at my bright orange nail and said, wow, look at that, to my doctor, he asked me if I wanted it removed. I said I planned on keeping it and fixed it with coconut oil.
Oh, nice, bro. Nice. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Oh, they're talking about Ron DeSantis? Oh, shit. Hold on.
Like who has the best tweets. Like I really do feel like, as stupid as that is, that's how a lot of conservatives view their support for Trump.
I'm a Ron DeSantis expert.
The Republican Party is all about rage right now. It's all about grievances. It's not about policy. It's not about moving the country in any direction. They are mad as hell. They think they're looking for someone to blame. White people are losing their majority. And it is a bumpy ride right now for the GOP. And I wouldn't say there's much difference between DeSantis and Trump. Ron DeSantis is just Trump without the baggage. That's pretty much it. He's also much younger. He's only 44 years old. But he is no different than Trump. In fact, he's further to the right now with some of his policy, like abortion. He's passed a 6-week ban in Florida. This Don't Say Gay bill. Trump is on the fence on that stuff. He's like, well, I'll pass whatever is brought to me.
Well,
He's
not
running
on
in
the fence. He's
general
the one
while
that passed all
DeSantis
the
is running in
judges,
primary.
that put all the
But I think
judges
the
in
Republican Party is screwed
so that
for
all this
many,
shit
many
would,
years, just
so
simply
Roe
off
v.
the
Wade
issue
would
of
be
abortion.
overturned.
They're just out of step with where the American people are at. And
Well, I think it depends. I think it depends on how far left the people on the left are pushing. When you come to things like third trimester abortion and stuff, that like I think California might have that, and some Democrats kind of want to defend that. I do think abortion is still a contentious issue in the United States, but in terms of like DeSantis versus Trump. But no, I do agree though that I think the majority of Americans are in favor of like some abortion rights though, which obviously Republicans kind of go back and forth on depending on who you talk to. But I think the biggest indicator right now that the Republican Party is in a lot of trouble is if you're a reasonable Republican who cares at all about the future of the country or cares at all about policy, the choice between DeSantis and Trump is crystal clear. And DeSantis wins by a mile. It's not even close. He's not as fucking crazy. He's not a loose cannon on Twitter. He's a much more effective leader. He's very good at getting legislation passed. He carried the fuck out of Florida, and he exceeded all expectations there. He's 40 years younger. Like DeSantis is the clear choice, but the fact that so many Republicans still support Trump, I think, goes to show you that if I was a betting man, if I wanted to tell you like what your path to success was right now, it would be to fire everybody that does polling, everybody that does political analysis, and you should just be going to like fucking SNL and hiring writers to literally craft the wittiest tweets and the funniest ads, because I really think that's how the next fucking Republican candidate is going to be decided.
Stop trolling me, Destiny.
Do you think that this is in part? So it feels like in the past, and maybe this is my Canadian bias as well, a lot of, I'll say conservative in this case,
Bonsai House.
a lot of conservative voters.
Trump
the, like,
could
main
take a
thing that they
lesson
would care
from
about
Jimmy
typically
Dory's
was,
hair.
like, economic stuff.
Jimmy's hair is smart.
But my frustration is
It
when you
makes
listen
its
to,
eyebrows
I would say
follow suit
most
with
people,
color
but
and never
particularly,
poses himself.
kind of
He
like
lets a
older
beautician
conservative
do it.
leaning people, their
Smart.
understanding of economics is
Jimmy's hair is smart.
like 1960s economics. They like still appeal to like
You
Dave
just
Ramsey.
you
and
just
stuff like that.
complimented Jimmy Dore's hair color, bro.
Do you,
I can't
like,
believe it.
Why?
Look,
Why are
no
Republicans
law
not
regarding
talking-
cannabis,
like,
everybody
in,
cheers.
In a case where like I feel like inflation's really high, there's a lot of like stress around money. There's like concerns about like
420
recessions after like
Newfoundland.
COVID and
Cheers.
stuff. It feels like the most important thing to talk about, particularly for a conservative voter basis, would be economics, and yet I don't see anyone ever talking about it. Whereas I do remember growing up and hearing about this. But maybe this is a Canadian bias. Maybe Canadians talk about economics more than.
Well, we do. It's just not as accessible. Like, things are going pretty well in the economy as well, and I know people are going to soy out about that, but we have like record unemployment right now, 3.4% in the United States. We have the lowest black unemployment ever, 4.7%. So things are going pretty well. So it's kind of hard to give Biden a hard time on the economy. He's also been great on lowering the deficit, and right now he's in talks with the Republicans to lower spending even further.
Bonsai
So
House.
while that's been
Unlike Destiny,
staple for
he
the
lets
Republicans to
bullies
focus on the
decide his hair
economy, like I
color.
said, they've turned their party
In the
into a party of
prototype.
grievance now, where it's all about us versus them, and that's because of Donald Trump. That's his whole. That's how he runs his whole life with enemies, and so he took over the party and shaped it the way he wants it. So they're kind of cucked right now, as long as he's still a major player in their party, and he's not going anywhere for a while.
Swirly.
Yeah, I just don't
Swirly
think,
hair.
Republicans
Or a fat
just don't
Nakba.
really care about economic policy at all. Like a lot of shit changed from Bush to I think it was from Bush and then through the Tea Party and then to Trump. In like 10 years, Republicans went from we support big business because it's literally like the lifeblood of the United States are large corporations into now hating big business as much as like progressives do. So like the Republican Party has like 180'd its view on large corporations, and now shit like Facebook and everything, these are the enemy and they need to be like socialized and shit. So yeah, honestly, Republicans never had a strong economic foundation to begin with. But I unironically believe. Have you ever heard of something called third positionism?
No.
No.
It's kind of like Nazism, but not really. No, I think a third positionist is somebody. Isn't it somebody who is they're socially very conservative, but they're
Bonsai
economically
House.
very liberal? Like
Hey,
I
Destiny,
legitimately believe that
what's
a
that
lot
dye
of
color?
Republicans that
Porta-John.
support Trump these days
Why?
would be in favor of a lot more economic redistribution and these types of policies like higher minimum wage and everything, as long as you're like restricting things like immigration and you're getting rid of things like abortion.
'Cause he's
and
a
you're cracking
YouTuber,
down a
bro.
little bit more socially on things going on in the country. But yeah, the days of past of like the traditional conservative economic platform, I don't think conservatives really give a fuck about it anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look at the fight with Disney right now between DeSantis, in Florida. That's incredible to see the Republicans doing that, lashing out at Disney and punishing them for speaking their mind. A corporation and the largest employer in the state of Florida. Disney is a gangster, man. You don't mess with them. They will kill you. So it's pretty wild to see the Republicans going down this road. They've completely changed.
Yeah, DeSantis seems like a really, really interesting character to kind of like start like popping off, and maybe that's
Dude,
only
has he
because
done that
I
thing
have
on
this
Twitter
bias of,
yet?
Like I'm finally like paying closer attention to this.
Elon Musk and
But just like seeing the way that
douchebag.
he's like navigating policy within Florida feels very like dynamic compared to
Bonsai
like
House.
it feels like
I
any
I
other.
think his
Disaster
hair
is
smells
trending.
like cedar blue with a hint of used
Disaster.
Do you guys
coffee.
think there's any concern? Because I've heard like obviously this is going to come from like bread tube area, but like any concerns about like DeSantis being like more authoritarian in general and like trending towards like being like quite authoritarian and like if he won the presidency.
Yeah, 100%. He's actually capable, unlike Trump. He would surround himself with smart people. And by the way, he's out fundraised Trump by like double right now. People don't even know this, but the guy's got like $110 million in the bank compared to Trump, who has raised like $20 million since he launched. I mean, it's been a pathetic fundraising for Trump. So DeSantis is definitely scary, but I think he'll get sunk in the general by
Bonsai
his
House.
extreme positions on things like abortion. I tell you, I know I keep saying it, but look at the midterms. The Republicans got their asses kicked in the midterms. Why? Abortion and two extreme candidates. And that's the exact formula that they're presenting, the exact recipe they're putting up for the general.
I kind of disagree. I guess we'll see what happens, or if you have other reasons to feel why, maybe I'm just not aware of it. But I legitimately do think that Trump is a full-on fascist, 1,000,000%. I think that if Trump could have like waved a wand and did away with like voting, or I mean, he tried to literally. I don't think we will ever see anybody, because Trump doesn't have the mind for politics at all, or the understanding for politics at all. I don't think you will ever see anybody as flagrant as Donald Trump when it comes to disrespect of rule of law and disrespect of democratic process. I think DeSantis would be more quote-unquote authoritarian, and then he would try to pass like social policies and stuff that are maybe unfair to minorities and stuff. But in terms of like blatantly trying to steal elections and shit, I don't think you would ever see that type of behavior from an actual leader like DeSantis. But that's my guess, so I could be wrong. But
Right. And isn't that part of like what was Trump's appeal, is that he was so like non-politician-y? Like he wasn't really kind of born and raised in the politician world, and he just kind of like did whatever the fuck he wanted. Probably a large portion behind Trump was also Roger Stone and like kind of the like weird campaign that they ran.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, him being like an outsider and not a politician or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Destiny that Trump is way crazier on the elections because he couldn't win. He had to cheat, right? But when
In
I look at...
crazy and historically fucking insane ways. So yeah, go ahead.
Oh, and we don't even know the half of it. Wait till the indictments come down from Jack Smith. I mean, I think people are going to be shocked at what this guy was up to. And even in the Georgia case, when those indictments come down, it's going to be pretty shocking for people. But... again, with abortion, I look at it and one of the exceptions is for rape in the Florida abortion bill, but you have to show receipts. So women have to go prove that they were raped with paperwork. I mean, that is authoritarian as hell to
A
me.
cigarette
It's
butt
fascist.
is told.
Authoritarian. That's not
Bonsai house.
Right. It's
Okay,
shitty,
okay,
but-
sorry.
To
Bro.
me, it's controlling half the population and telling them what they can do with their body, and putting them up their word versus someone else's word and having to show receipts. I mean,
I guess when I think of authoritarian, I'm thinking like somebody that's willing to break political process, break democratic process, break rule of law to try to pass things, basically, essentially on their own in contradiction to how our democratic process
How
is
about
supposed to
packing
work.
the courts?
So, for instance, like Trump claiming the election is stolen, Trump claiming that mail-in ballots are fraudulent, Trump trying to call Georgia looking for ballots, Trump encouraging Pence to overturn the election. Like, these are the things, these are like grossly anti-democratic things that I don't think DeSantis or any other Republican would ever try, that I'm thinking when I think of like authoritarian. But in terms of like shitty social policy, yeah, I agree. He would probably try to pass more and be more effective at doing so than Trump would be.
yeah, I guess I just see it as what is the end result? What happens in the end, Like, you can make people feel good by voting, but if you control big policy that impacts their lives and forces them to do things, to me, that's authoritarianism. But I see what you're saying. I agree. I mean, the voting stuff is wild, too, trust me.
Like, I obviously don't like restricting abortion rights and everything, because that's not what I agree should be done as policy. But if it's passed through democratic measures, if people support the leadership doing it or whatever, even though I don't like it, that's part of being an American, is sometimes legislation.
The
and stuff
people
that
got
passes,
no
I don't
say
like.
in it.
But I don't like the idea of people trying to unilaterally decide election outcomes because they're not happy with how things turned out. That's, in my opinion, that is an authoritarian,
The
totalitarian.
people got no
fascist
say in
action.
abortion in
And
Florida.
Trump was
Williams.
unique in his propensity
Nick.
to do that.
It's a packed court.
So I guess I'm not fully satisfied by the answer that like the main thing that's going to like lead to conservatives like voting one way or another, and I know you're being somewhat flippant, is just like who gets like the sickest dunk on libs. It feels like I feel like one of the most important things is to like criticize your in-group and understand your out.
They voted for
and like,
DeSantis. Yes, they did.
particularly like politically, not because I see like conservatives as like the enemy necessarily, but
They
because I
voted
think
for
it's
him,
important
it's
to
true.
understand like why people congregate around certain leaders.
But they
And I
didn't-
would agree with
they-
you that like Trump did things that were like, violated the democratic process, which is really important to me because I think it's like fundamental to understand why so many people found that appealing specifically. And I don't know if I'm like satisfied with like the Twitter answer.
They didn't realize they
and
were
so
going to
maybe-
remove
What
books from
appealing?
schools.
Trump specifically. Like,
You
what
know?
was the appeal of Trump? Why are so many
Tortured
still
people in
attached within the
Guantanamo.
Conservative Party? Like, what has shifted within the populace that somebody who's essentially has risk of, in your words, like violating their democratic process? Why are so many conservatives like following in suit behind that? Like, I don't know if it's just like Twitter wars enough. I don't know if that's a satisfying answer, I guess.
The shitty reality is Americans as a whole are largely uneducated on most of our political
So the
processes,
thing
and
is
Americans as a whole
DeSantis
don't
already
know much
announced,
about
and it was a
democratic
total
norms.
flop on Twitter.
And
I just
think
read
that
about
for
it.
both sides, I
This
think
is
if you had the
big ol'
ability
fucking
to flip
failure,
certain
just like
norms to favor you, I think you would do it. That's,
Elon
like,
Musk's
largely
rocket
speaking
that
how I
just
would
blew
feel,
up
just
the other day.
Trump is at this particular point,
Yay!
Republicans, especially
Your rocket
Trump, are
blew
trying
up,
to do things they've never
yay!
done before. But the idea,
Like, you don't think it's a uniquely conservative issue? You think like Democrats would be willing to do it if they could get away with it?
yeah, I think that there are. Yeah, I just don't see the opportunities for them, and everybody's going to be pushing for it right now in the same way that Donald Trump did. But I think that a lot of Americans probably felt like they weren't being heard as part of the political process because politics and policy is complicated right now in the United States. So it feels like our elected leaders are doing nothing. And when you get a guy who's coming from the outside, even though he's a fucking billionaire, saying that he's gonna hear your cries, you know, all the standard populist rhetoric, he's gonna come in, he's gonna be the outsider, he's gonna clean up the swamp and blah blah blah.
Top of the hour.
People are too
He'll already
stupid to
gonna
see
give us
before it happens that it's just business as usual, nothing different has changed, like nothing really happened.
Yeah.
Do you think that there's anything true that there's sorry, IRI. Do you think there's anything true? Like in my mind, if an idea becomes like so popular that like millions of people get behind it, I like maybe this is silly on my part, but I tend to almost always look for like there's gotta be a kernel of truth somewhere in there. I don't know what it is, and it's not always the self-evident thing, but I think it's really important to contend with these ideas to like know what is the one thing that they're like tagging
Megan Williams.
onto. So like you know,
Hashtag cheers.
there are massive amounts of like
Arafat
corporate
Nakba.
institutional like
Eat.
rotten corruption that people are frustrated by and maybe are like not mapping onto correctly, but is there like an element of truth there? Like I don't know, and I guess maybe
No,
that's
the element of truth
but...
is just that people do feel frustrated and they do feel unheard. That's the true thing. But I think the prediction was before Trump got elected that I read a couple times, and it seems to have come true, is the route for populists are always, we're going to come into office, we're going to do things right, we're going to clean shit up. Then the populist gets elected,
Megan
they get
Williams.
into office, and people
How
realize,
sad
oh
Tina
shit,
Turner
it's way more
died.
complicated than we thought. We're not cleaning up anything. Nothing is going to change, and we're actually
Yeah, Tina
a less
Turner died.
effective leader than normal. And then things go back to normal. It's like, oh fuck, I guess there's a reason why things are the way they are. And that is almost exactly what happened with Trump. He got in
Arafat
office, he
Nakba.
literally got nothing done. He got
Cheers.
one piece of major legislation passed, which was a tax bill, and that was it. Nothing else got changed. And arguably his administration was more corrupt and more swamp-ridden than any of the past administrations that they had criticized. So.
Yeah, I think Trump gave people a boogeyman. He gave them someone to point to, you know, people coming over the border. And that's what the Republican Party is still going on and on about. It's always about some boogeyman. It's about your kids being transed in school, or it's about these migrants coming over and flooding the America with fentanyl, whatever it is, so you don't have to look in the mirror and deal with your problems. But it's all just a distraction. As far as like a core idea, I don't know. It's tough to say. There's a lot of problems. The real issue is that Congress has become completely a logjam. They can't get anything done. So we have 30-year-old laws that govern the internet, for example. We have 30-year-old laws that govern the border, our immigration, when it was like single males coming from Mexico, and now it's migrants coming as refugees. So our Congress is unable to deal with problems. They very well could if they could get along. And that leads to a strong man like Trump being able to tell everybody, I'll fix it. I'll fix it all. And here's what's happening. And then when he doesn't do that, he blames the deep state. If only I had 2 more weeks, I could finish the wall. Give me 1 day, I'll solve the crisis in Ukraine. Nonsense like that. People get susceptible. Finally, I'll say, I think the internet has really contributed a lot. People watch videos all day long, see white people getting punched in the face by black people, or they hear that, you know, Target is selling whatever I called it, the tuck appropriate swimsuits or something, and that's ruining our kids and turning them gay, and so they start freaking out about all these things. And it's sad, because if we had proper regulation of the internet, then these social media companies wouldn't get away with this stuff and making a few extra bucks off causing outrage in society. And it feels to conservatives like society like is moving too quickly, right? Like they don't understand trans, they don't understand some of this stuff, and so they're reacting to that, and they're trying to hold on to the past.
Who is this guy?
But in
He's
many
making
ways,
a lot
like,
of
that's
sense.
the role that the conservatives have always served in, like, almost that's the purpose of them within, like, democratic societies. Is like, in many ways, it feels like the purpose of conservatives regularly is to go like, whoa, 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 on change. I'm not saying that they always do it well or that I agree with it. Whereas it tends to be like the liberal side to essentially say, what can we push for? What can we change that would improve the lives of everyone? And it's like this like dynamic that I think is valuable.
Really
it's like the
important.
inborn power correction within the structure itself, particularly like
This guy's
my
name is I'm
understanding,
really
which is like
important.
limited, particularly within American politics with a two-party system. The tension between the two is fundamental for like the corrections of balance of power. And I guess like when I'm thinking about
I just disagree. Yeah, I
Okay.
feel like conservatism is based in ignorance. I hate to say it, but a lot of it is just based in, I don't like that. It makes me feel bad. Or I don't like the direction the government's going. I don't like helping other people. They don't understand what progressive policies are. They don't understand what like Medicare for All would do for them personally. I try to tell people, you have to appeal to people's selfishness when it comes to policy. You can't be like, let's get all the homeless off the street, right? That'll make us all feel good. No, you talk about these people aren't working. They're not doing jack shit. Let's get their tax dollars, you know? Let's get them in the community coaching softball, whatever. So I have no patience for conservatives. I hate to say that.
I mean,
think a
the
lot of it has
progressive.
changed.
Well, real quick, the progressive mouthpiece has been pretty loud online, though, and I would say that they're probably just as ignorant right now as a lot of the big conservative pushing voices. So I wouldn't say that I think that if you go to like the Daily Wire tier of, and if we ignore like the more extreme shit that Matt Walsh does, I think that there is an important tension that can be represented there, where there's probably needs to be some push and pull between the left and the right, and I think that there is a center-right presence in the United States that can represent that. It's just that right now the Republican Party is just kind of like following Trump off a cliff, or half of them are. So
Yeah, I guess.
I was going to say that I think
Oh, sorry.
a lot of what you're saying though about the conservative people overall seems to be changing a bit though. As you mentioned earlier, Stephen, you talked about like third positionism and such. And like overall, historically, conservatives in America have been all about reaction to change, right? Oh, something's changing. Let's bring things back to norm, right? But things changed a lot with Trump, with wanting to move in a more authoritarian direction for some, and people wanting to get more extreme with the responses to change, which means that they're willing to go to certain lengths that are unusual for conservatives and Republicans, wanting to actually implement massive sweeping change themselves in response to progressive change. So the parameters of like what Republicans and conservatives in America will do these days and will allow to happen to America have been changed quite a bit and augmented, and they're open to broader ideas, even bringing in very unconventional characters that don't normally carry conservative values with them, like Trump, for instance. So, and I think a lot of this is sort of in response to just sort of a general sense of being out of control, sort of a bleakness that's affected a lot of Americans in feeling like they have no ability to affect the state of their country and their own future.
Right.
And a lot of it is reaching for like new solutions.
It's
Yeah,
just gonna
like, I
lead
think a
to
lot of time
fucking.
the
It's just
boogeyman
gonna lead to a
to,
goddamn
like,
revolt.
corruption within the system. Like I think is corruption, right? And probably the corruption that exists now is, like all things, probably way more complicated than it was in the past, which means it's going to be way harder. It doesn't mean that we have a system that wants to reinforce corruption. It means that we have a system that's so complicated that it's even harder to tease these things out. But I think like a lot of people don't feel represented because of like things like bureaucratic bloat, right? And just like the overly slow processes by which like things change, kind of like what IRI pointed out. I guess going back to like what IRI said, I feel dissatisfied of just like being like conservatives are just like ignorant, and it's like probably the lack of education is part of it, right? And this is like something I always fall back on, is like a lot of times it feels like a lot of times conservatives will be right about their like predictive fears of things. However, the reason that they are is because like they can just fall back on tradition, right? Like they don't really need to understand anything. They can be like, well, it worked before, so it's probably going to work again. And like the reality is that like that's true a lot of the time, even mathematically. The issue is that when we're talking about like social change, which I think is good because I think there are things that do need to change, I think we get into this complicated dance that like it feels like on the left, for example, we presume of like this policy will fix things. And sometimes that's true because sometimes there's the evidence behind it. And it's frustrating when conservatives are like, no, no, no. And you're like, no, there's very good evidence for this policy being really effective and helpful, right? But then there's other policies that will get rolled out reactively that feel like social engineering is more complicated than I think we ever give it credit for sometimes. And I feel like when I look at conservatives, they kind of like embody this Chesterson's fence of like not wanting to change things until we like understand the affairs that like have affected it, and probably too much so. Like, yeah.
Kind of defaulting to paralysis before change.
I think conservatives would tell you that they're standing up for liberty and individual freedom, and like they want people to just be good on their own, and control their own lives. But it's ignoring that a lot of people need help and a lot of people are not in the same position as them. But I just look at conservative policies and I'm like, what are these guys doing? Look at any issue, gun control, for example. What are they fighting for? Open carry to arm school guards and teachers? Like, these people are not serious about solving society's problems.
No, that
it's just
that
it's
is
a
a solution.
I think
actually,
they're,
I kind of like
guns
it.
are the perfect
See, I
distillation
disagree with
of
that guy on one
conservative
thing.
ideologies. Conservatives view responsibility for communities as belonging to the communities themselves.
Hey,
and
happy
liberals or
710,
progressives view
arm the
responsibility to communities
schools.
as from the federal
We
government.
arm our
So,
banks.
To a progressive, you might see like, well, there's an effective top-down policy that we can do to alleviate society of some ill. To a conservative, they're thinking like, why the fuck would I ship all of my money to the federal government just for it to go to other parts of the country?
So I guess our money must be more important than our
And this is even
children.
reflected, I think, in like charitable contributions. I think conservatives donate more to churches and stuff than progressives or liberals do. So I mean, like the difference is always going to be that conservatives feel like change and progress should come at the local level, whereas progressives have like a more top-down view of it. But I mean, there's no shortage also of conservatives to look at liberal policies to go like, oh well, like look at Chicago or look at LA, look at the $10,000 light installations that were put all over like San Jose or whatever, like all the wasted spending and everything. Like they can always point to stuff like that and go, well, your policies don't work either, you know.
Well,
Like if you look at places like Seattle and LA, like there's no conservative city that has homelessness at that level, right? If you look at Austin, if you look at like New York City in the subway, if you look at all these things, right?
Yeah.
one of
These
the
are
things that I do
gigantic.
appreciate about like conservative ethic has a lot to do with you take care of your own community, right? You kind of keep things cleaned up. But the problem is they tend to have oftentimes
Megan Williams.
a more
Hashtag she.
aggressive or even penal approach to doing that. That
No law
a lot of
regarding
people
cannabis,
who
Megan.
end up
Everyone else
economically
cheers. Happy
disenfranchised
710.
may
Arafat.
end up just locked up in jail. Or
Everyone that's
right?
over on Rumble.
So there's sort of a balance that would be
Right.
great
Cheers.
to achieve between that, where you can have both understanding of the economic stressors that people face and try to come up with solutions that limit those or reduce them, or maybe even eventually eliminate them, as well as also encouraging community and personal responsibility and such. But things are so damn polarized that even talking about personal responsibility or talking about charity makes people point to you as being like the problem on one side, and talking about recognizing systemic issues and economic stressors makes people point to you as the enemy from the other side.
Yeah, I think it's so much more important for liberals specifically, and I probably have this criticism mostly because I lean left, right? But I think I get really frustrated when I look at like my own side, when it feels like we have like brain rot of understanding the other side, right? Where it's just like, and not that I'm like saying IRA or just like brain rotted by any means, because you bar none have like much more sophisticated.
Well, there's
like,
facts and then
lots
there's
of people just try
fucking
to consider
lies.
it
You know, why
ontological
is
and
that?
fuck them, right? Which is
Why
like the
why
worst
is
possible
why
response.
why are facts so hard to understand?
But I think
Their response.
yeah, but it's dissatisfying to me, particularly because when you like go into like conservative neighborhoods, kind of like as Ani said, you'll see like they're pretty good at taking care of people that are their own, right? They're like quite family oriented and whatnot. They're just fucking shit at caring about other people, right? Whereas oftentimes, this is like I don't know if you guys have commonly experienced this, when you go into like a more like liberal dominated space, for example, I find people less like friendly, there's a little bit like they're not as good hosts, they're not as like warm or welcoming, but they
Not
broadly
true.
care about others a lot.
Not
And
true.
Which is probably my orientation as well.
Not
Which
true.
is probably why I'm liberal. But I
Just
feel
not
like
true.
looking at conservatives and just being like they're just
Dude,
dumb
my
and
right-wing
uninformed,
friends, pro down here,
feels
you
like
would
the wrong
love
answer, because,
all
like,
of them
at the
if you
end of the day,
didn't
there's
talk
something
politics.
psychologically
You'd
appealing
get
to
along
people. I
really
don't know
good
if
with
it's, like,
all of
just
my
dumbness.
friends that
And
are
if it is the
Ron
case that they're
DeSantis
literally just
lovers.
stupid, then to me it feels like
Right
building
wingers.
a level of bridge so that like policy can change.
Gun-toting
Is then on the liberals, if they're saying
right-wing.
that they're literally
They're
less
some of the
educated
best
than ever,
people you'll
then,
ever
like, the
meet in
more
your
educated
entire
people's
life.
responsibility
They'll give
would
you
be to,
nothing
like,
but
find
love and loyalty
intelligent
their
ways to, like,
entire
bridge that gap.
lives.
But like maybe I'm being too idealistic.
Listen,
And
ignorance
they don't
is a
care
tough
if
word.
I
use it
lean
just
left.
to piss people off. But
They don't give a
I'm
fuck.
ignorant about food, for example. I go eat McDonald's on the weekend. I'm a total chud when it comes to fine dining, and people could
So
look at
what
me
she
and
said,
be like,
it's
"What's
just
your
not true."
problem, man? Why would you just keep eating McDonald's like an idiot?" But that's what I know, and that's what I stick to. And I feel a lot of conservatives fall into that pool where they don't want to learn, they don't want to hear, they want affirmation of what they already are comfortable with, and anything different makes them feel weird. I love my fellow Americans. I have no problem with conservatives. These are people who I feel have been taken advantage of by right-wing media. I mean, Fox News had to pay $800 million recently for lying to their audience. So I think that a lot of these people are victims, and they're not going to like to hear that when I say it, but it's the truth. And their patriotism is being weaponized for things like January 6th. And I feel a lot of their policy positions are not thought through. They're just being told to get mad at Target for having, bathing suits for trans people, and that's what they base their policy on. And how can we have a serious conversation with people who are just ginned up or fired, drunk on grievance?
Yeah, but I mean, like a lot of the conversation topics from the other end in terms of media are just as bad, though. Right? Yeah. Like the Uber DEI lady literally just got fucking shelved for trying to talk about how maybe Karen is like an offensive thing. And one of the quotes that I literally read in the article that came from one of the Hispanic Substacks was, "I don't think they realize what it's like to have to sit there and feel like you're being lectured." And it's like, bro, people of color have been doing that to white people for like 25 fucking years. Like, let me sit you down and tell you about how challenging my experiences are, because sometimes when I cross the street, a cop might look at me weird, right? Like, and the idea that we're seeing these types of message propagated over and over and over and over again on social media, I'm not saying it represents the mainstay of like the Democratic establishment, but when you see those messages a billion times, of course that shit is going to wear on people's minds, right?
Well, but we don't stand for a lot of that stuff. Like you brought up the point about California, where we support elective abortion up until the end of your pregnancy. There's a lot of misinformation out there like that. Like, no Democrats want to see people have elective abortions up until the date of birth, but there's a lot of conservatives out there that think that's our position. So that's misinformation, and so we're having a discussion when one side is completely misinformed. But as far as like DEI and all the concern on the left, I think that stuff pales in comparison. Tucker Carlson was a monster compared to what? Someone on MSNBC or Don Lemon? I mean, it's a joke.
Sort of yes and no, right? But the issue is like media is a really interesting one, because like Fox News getting like in trouble from Dominion, I think is really great for cleaning up media a little bit. Like, one of the best things I think that's happened in a long time. And I wouldn't be surprised to find out like one is maybe like worse than the other. The issue is like, I think City Bite Karen is a really good example of the failure of like kind of like mainstream left social media, like actual media sources, and their way of like approaching, or even like Kyle Rittenhouse is another good example. And so like, I see, for example, way less of like the lying at like broad societal scales, like Fox News is doing about like voter, like literally the stolen election shit. But there's like active lying that will happen on like specifically like agendized kind of cultural topics, like Kyle Rittenhouse, right? When at first Kyle Rittenhouse came out, they were claiming that he was like some crazy white supremacist who was like part of gang. I'm pretty sure I remember I read the breaking news the first day, and I was like, oh man, crazy, this like white supremacist potentially like like Proud Boys affiliated individual.
Yeah, you saw
is, like,
that Karen
down
movie
black
before
people
me.
on the street.
That
And then it
chick
turns
was
out
in
literally
Orange is
none
the
of
New
that was
Black.
happening.
Christopher Floor.
City Bite Karen is
Remember
another
that
really good
Navy
example
guy
of just,
kept
like, abject
reinforcing his
failures.
own
And so they're
virtues
by no
from a
means
clip
as
a few
extreme as
weeks
Fox
ago.
News, but
He
the
was speaking
disillusion,
so
for example,
fondly
from,
of
like, media
himself.
is certainly
I
not
loved it.
a single party problem.
That Navy guy.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I don't disagree, okay? AOC was calling this guy, I think his name's Daniel Penny or whatever, that choked the kid on the subway, calling him a murderer and all that. I disagree with that. I think that's extreme for sure. So it does happen, but you don't see CNN getting sued for misinformation.
There's opinion and there's
also,
Well,
getting
hold on.
back
Wait
to
a
the
second.
ignorance.
Hold on. Didn't they
Are you
get
talking about
massively...
the kid?
Yeah, the Covington kids. Didn't they get massively sued for that, to be fair?
We don't know. He could have got 25 grand for all we know. It's a settlement. Nobody can talk about the amount. So who knows what that kid got? But I guarantee it wasn't the 250 million he wanted.
Probably 250 million, but... Okay, sorry, go ahead.
I don't know
Also,
what
I've got to leave in like 10 minutes, so go for it.
No,
I was
Destiny,
gonna say,
no.
Regarding the ignorance thing, one thing I've found, I don't know if you guys have seen it, something similar, but I feel like even though conservatives are going to be more ignorant of systemic issues and such, I feel like liberals oftentimes tend to be a bit more unrealistic about how people view things and how people will respond to like certain types of messaging. I feel like conservatives tend to be a little bit more down to earth and realistic about how people operate and function and respond to things, where liberals tend to be more
Josh G.
ignorant of that and a little
Good
bit
evening.
more have a bit
Cheers,
more of a
hope
pipe
you're
dream
well.
about how human behavior
Hey,
is.
Josh.
So I kind of see the ignorance being more about like liberals are more willing to explore and understand systemic issues, but not as willing to understand the human animal itself.
What? Huh?
Here's what I think actually happens for conservatives. I think they happen to just like understand the human self more because they can just like keep falling back on tradition, right? Like if you actually understand, like unironically, like some of the most cringe interpretations of human behavior come from conservatives, right? Because like they don't understand why it's happening. They can just understand like people tend to react this way, but that's because they get to fall back on tradition. Whereas like it feels like for like the liberal predisposition is tend to like to question tradition heavily, and like more so like try to analyze and figure it out for themselves, which just leads you to being wrong more often. But the problem is like if you ask like conservatives like why something happens, their ideology understanding of like even like basic psychological factors is usually pretty terrible.
I think it just super depends on the issue, because I think progressives have a blind spot on a lot of cultural issues right now. Right?
How
Like,
so?
like everything is white supremacy, everything is racism, everything. Like you said, like
That's
that
not
city
true.
bike thing was a perfect example of it. If you would have race swapped that, or if it would have been 5 white people instead of 4
That's not
African
true.
Americans
And a black
whatnot,
woman who's pregnant?
Yeah, it would have been like the reaction would have been 1,000,000,000% different. Or if the guy if it would have been a white homeless dude on the bus and a black guy that choked him out, we wouldn't even be talking about it today. Like the racial obsession on the left has become pathological.
Arafat
and this one is
Nakba.
actually fucking unhinged.
Cheers.
And a
He
lot of
does make a
progressives
point there, and I happy
vastly
420 already. He
overestimate
does actually make a
the
point there. I got to
willingness
give that to
of most
Destiny.
people
I agree.
to accept certain
There's race.
more
There is
radical
race.
forms
This
of change.
just taking
And we'll
it too
think,
far
yeah,
based on the
America's
color of
totally
somebody's
ready
skin
for
is
this. We can go
racism to
forward
me
with this.
too.
Push it forward aggressively. Everybody's going to be on board with it.
So he does make a
And
point,
then
man.
they're
Whatever.
shocked to
Whatever,
realize
Destiny.
that is not the reaction, right?
No law regarding cannabis.
So
Cheers,
that's another
everybody.
blind spot right there.
Whatever.
Okay,
Destiny's
you
making
guys
sense, and that's why I watch him. Whatever.
Take off. Are any of you guys streaming YouTube?
No.
Oh, alright.
I'm not even streaming.
Be careful. Okay, I need to. I'll try to get a link. I think I'm doing a show tonight at 9. I don't even know what this is, but apparently they're in my state. Shit. I just saw how many subs they have. I don't know. I don't know why I'm doing this now. Oh, she has so many more followers on Instagram. What happened? Are these real? Will it be live? Yeah, conservative Latinas. She has 150,000 followers on Instagram. Oh.
Let's see where Destiny sends everybody.
Is that this Michael Sartain's girl? I don't think so. That would be crazy. Do you think it is? I have no idea. All right.
Arafat Nakba. NLRC cheers.
Yeah, I'll see you guys in like 4 days, I guess. Be careful.
IP ban. Holy shit, dude.
Peace out. Oh, H3 clip.
And then I made like a joke about it. My first video was like LOL that one time when like this like LA comedian like kind of forced me to eat his ass when I was like pushing against him. LOL. And it was just like a funny video.
Wait,
and then
you made
sound
this joke?
Funny? That sounds
Yeah.
really extreme.
And this might be a bit fucked up, but like I feel like eating ass has got to be one of the hardest things to force someone to do. I'm not gonna lie.
There was a lot of pressure
Whoa,
on my head,
man.
and he was like keeping my mouth full and making
Dude,
sure
that
he
was
was
just
not
a
making eye
silly
contact
little
with me, so I couldn't
joke.
say no. Like,
Destiny just
it was
banned
very
somebody
weird.
for 1,000
I know
hours.
that he liked me, but it was
Holy
Story
shit,
is probably
man.
made up. Now, looking in retrospect, I've probably literally made this entire fucking thing up. I have a friend that watches a lot of H3H, and she said that this was like the worst hit piece she's ever seen.
said- the
Apparently,
guy
like, all
said-
of these clips that Ethan has of Avon Preach are like just 20-second clips.
Destiny said yes
that he's,
because
like,
she's
trying to
pretty
correct
or
herself
something
on.
like
I don't know
that.
if
And
it's
Destiny
true, she said
fucking
that.
banned the guy for
Apparently it's a
1,000
really
hours.
shitty video that he's doing here, but
You think he'll just unban him?
some guy just joined the Discord call and is mad that he missed you. Oh, ruminate. Oh, I love you guys.
Destiny. Whoa, Destiny just banned somebody else?
All right. Peace out.
Bye. Oh my god, man. That was so hard. Dude, he's on that shit.
Maybe it's not going to be live. Hopefully she's...
He will just... Dude, there's so many people in there.
Treat, hold on.
And
Somebody actually...
He will just block people, bro. Like...
One of the high school students from last
just
year...
talking, everyone's talking smack and trolling and shit, and he'll just block you for talking a little bit of smack, bro. You gotta be careful. Am I that strict, man? You guys, am I that strict in my chat? Holy shit.
But this is the fact. This is something you need to
I am so confused right now.
You hear America systemically racist. Why have so many non-whites live here? That's 3 million just blacks. What about the Asians who live here? People from India, for example, Vietnam, Cambodia, etc. The fact is, this is the best country that was ever invented.
Oh, dude, I hate that guy. Dude, that's the guy. Oh my god. PragerU. PragerU?
Megan Williams.
Oh my god.
Definitely not.
Oh my god.
Let's see if they'll start asking questions. Hold on.
He's listening to PragerU. This guy is horrible. Dennis Prager is a horrible person. Dennis Prager is a horrible person.
Arafat Nakba. No.
Dude. Oh my god. Everyone's like, no shit. Dude, Dennis Prager is a fucking horrible person, man. Oh my god. I heard that voice, I'm like, man, I know who that is. I know that voice. Pump it up, Destiny. Dude, he's listening to it. I wonder why he's watching it.
So, through all of that, when you have opioid crisis, you have marijuana being argued today, trying to be decriminalized. All of that, all of this legislation led to a higher minority population found in prisons, which leads to mass incarceration that is still an issue today.
They talking about cannabis?
They brought in the second clause of the 13th Amendment saying, like, you can use slavery.
I'm somewhat of an expert in that.
There are so many documentaries. 13 by Ava DuVernay on Netflix. Great documentary. It brings in both sides.
I'm somewhat of an expert in cannabis.
So race does matter. Because there's so many legislation still being made today that discriminates against the minorities. Which, looking around, there's a lot of minorities in this room. Whether that's race, that's gender, that's sexuality, whatever it is.
Dude, I thought he was gonna go away. I thought he said later, and he didn't go. He's still there. He might just be watching chat, waiting to block more people.
Wait, if there are a lot of minorities in the room, why does that prove that race matters?
When I hear Dennis Prager speak, the hair raises up on the back of my neck.
Excuse me. You don't know what you're talking about.
He's such a fool, man.
Is that what you're saying? Let her answer. Is she stupid? Are you her spokesman? Is he your spokesman?
Ugh.
I'd be happy to call on him if he was.
Dennis.
It's so funny because I think I was right before Dennis, and like my speech was all about like sometimes we can have challenging conversations, but we need to be respectful towards other people. So it was so funny the tone change between me being on and then him coming on after me. It was so fucking funny.
To be your spokesman.
Oh shit! Destiny was there.
Did I hear you wrong?
Keep in mind that this is a room full of like I want to say 16-year-olds. I think it was high school juniors. So I think it was like 15, 16, 17-year-olds.
Okay. He was there, dude.
Your point about many minorities in this room, if you want to retract it, it's fine. I'm not trying to win, but I'm trying to be clear.
I wonder if he debated Dennis Prager.
Laws and legislation that threaten being passed that have discriminated against minorities, specifically in prisons.
Right, okay, so that was your point, fair enough. Okay, we differ. I don't think minorities are in prison at a greater rate because the country is racist. Most people in prison, the vast majority of people in prison are there because they are guilty of a crime.
What about the unconstitutional stop and frisk? Hispanics in last week got at least 32
Right.
in American population.
Fine, so, okay, so stop and frisk, which was,
We have the highest incarceration rate in the world.
sorry,
In the world. We have the highest incarceration rate in the world.
that's correct.
Predominantly
It's a tragedy, you're right. So what does that prove to you, that the country is racist?
Yes, systemically racist because
Okay,
the laws
all
are
right.
systemically
My friends, okay, so I can only leave this, thank you. There are others who want to speak. I thank you. I will only say, as I say, all of my radio career, I prefer clarity to agreement. She thinks that there were more minorities in prison. Some American
It's bottom of the hour, everybody. Cheers.
I think there are more in prison because they commit more crime. Okay, one of us is right and one of us is wrong.
I still question.
No, sorry, I have to go to others. You cannot take up that amount of time. It's not fair to others. Yes, please.
Hi, my name's Sophia Youngs. I am going to be a senior at Los Alamitos High School, and I'm a first-generation American from Cuba, and I have very light skin. If you ask people what my ethnicity and race is, people are going to say white, and I'm not going to deny that. I don't necessarily look like a stereotypical Hispanic or non-white person. I look white, I'm passing white. My grandparents immigrated from Cuba on a raft to escape communism, with my uncle by their side, 6 months old. When they came to America, they worked their butts off to be able to provide a living for them. And they still have accents, they still look Hispanic, and they are constantly being discriminated against in airports, in supermarkets, solely because they are not fluent in English.
How were they discriminated against for not being fluent in English?
They were asked if they were citizens, they were asked for their documentation
By who?
by employees and by other.
Wait, I'm sorry. Why, is this in a store? Is this in an airport? Is this by a TSA official? I don't understand. Why would anybody care if you walk into a store and you have an accent, they'll ask you to prove that you're a citizen? I don't believe that. I simply don't believe it.
Because you're white.
Can you hear? Do you believe this son of a bitch? I don't believe that. I don't believe that your parents were discriminated against.
There's white truth, there's black truth, there's Hispanic truth. This is frightening. Something is either true or not. That I am white and said it is true. I even told you a lie or a truth. Lies and truth are independent of color. If you don't know that, there is no future for this country.
May I continue?
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful, thank you. So, in addition to that, kind of pandering off from my family, one of my friends, he was one of my bestest friends. We live both in Southern California and
Arafat Nakba. Cheers.
And we live in a predominantly white passing area. And one day, he was walking into his house, both actually trying to unlock his house, and he's the only black person in his family. He's unlocking his house, and this old woman comes up to him and asks, "What do you think that you're doing?" And he says, "I'm unlocking the keys to my house. I want to go inside my house." And she goes, "You don't live here." And he asks, "Well, I'm pretty sure I do live here. I've lived here for perhaps a year and a half."
I wonder if this has any of like the screaming, crying people. There's only 18 minutes of audio for this that they sent me.
Step aside.
To have his luggage because he's from Cuba or he's Hispanic?
When he was
Is that what you're telling me? Yes, I just want to have clarity of what you're saying. Is that what you're saying?
Hey, Emma.
So what are you saying?
You said hi. You said hi.
Going through TSA. Nothing in his things get scanned, nothing is suspicious, it gets told him. When he stepped aside, he spoke with strong Hispanic accent. He was learning English at the time. He still has that accent after being
Many of whom
he's currently in California, actually.
This is the older one, right? Yeah, this is like a year old.
Is it really this old guy? Yeah, he's pretty old.
In America because human beings are very failed.
Josh J. Destiny never looks him down.
He's a dinosaur.
Okay, so you know actions of a racist. Speaker, I'm allowed to, I am allowed to respond, and then you are. Please continue. You can wait, fine. The example you gave has nothing to do with systemic racism. It has to do with an individual racism. Now you go. Where the system is built to hurt blacks. That's what it means. The system. Systemic comes from the word system.
Why is it only black people?
Non-whites.
Well, when you consider the foundation in which systemic racism constitutes parents setback,
Without an example, I can't react, and I don't have. I want to know about. Not just in America.
Fuck, this doesn't even include anything good. I should have listened before playing, sorry. Rip. Okay, fuck it. Okay, I'm gonna be on that show tonight. Have fun, be careful. Rip right on my dude right now.
Is he gone? I don't want to do anything. I could post a link, but I don't want to do anything until his image is off that screen. There's a circle of death going around. I don't want to link unless I'm allowed to. Okay, I think I can link. Cool. Awesome. All right, man. So that was really good, man. That guy, I'm really important. He was really fucking good. I really appreciate what he said in there. You know, when you guys want that? Come on in. Absolutely. You want to hang out? We watched a good portion of Destiny right now, having a really good conversation. And you know, I agreed with a lot of what I'm Really Important has to say. I think that socially and politically, I'm really important, and I are in pretty much the same place until he started talking about guns and kids getting killed by guns.
What you watching, bro?
Circle of Death? What do you mean, Circle of Death? What do you mean, Circle of Death, bro? We were watching Destiny, man. I'm so confused that you're asking me that. Destiny went offline. So I just, I just wanted to say that I'm really important. I mean, I think Destiny's totally wrong on DeSantis, man, and Trump, and I just want to talk about that for a little bit. I'm living in the state of Florida, okay? I left here. I went to California 13 years ago, okay? DeSantis was torturing folks in Guantanamo, as far as I know. I don't know. When I came back from California to Florida, which was a year and a half ago, and I had heard about what was going on already, but when I came back here and really started taking it in, what Florida has become, the infrastructure is gorgeous, man. The money they've put down, it's beautiful. There's a lot of money in this state. Of course, Disney World has a lot to do with that, but that's a whole other conversation about this conversation. We can have that one later. The infrastructure.
Harley wants to go hunting.
In Orlando, driving through Orlando, the interstates, the highway systems, the malls, the cleanliness of everything. You don't see, I mean, I'm sure because there's homeless people everywhere, and I'm sure there's homeless people here, but, I don't see it around here. Florida looks to the eye like if people were coming in from international and to do whatever, it's beautiful. Oh, it's so beautiful there, and oh, it's so, there's no crime, and it's all taken care of, and there's police everywhere, and blah 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 blah. For a few days, it would seem, nice, like a nice place. You don't want to, run across the wrong person here. It's really not like that. It's all an appearance. It's like a facade. Florida is an evil, ugly, disgusting, vulgar.
Isn't there another guy in politics, Cully, that is pushing for more domestic infrastructure investment? What was his name? Joe something?
If people are interested in supporting Joe Biden, which I'm not, I support them in doing that. If people are interested in supporting Donald Trump for president against Ron DeSantis, I support them in doing that. What Destiny said is, he's an illegitimate candidate. He could very well, and I believe that I'm really important, said this too, could very well end up in prison here and not even be viable.
That's what I was asking you about it. Yeah, unnecessary gun violence is a circle of death.
Oh, I thought you were talking about a circle of death on the freaking screen, bro, when Destiny turned off his live. No. Let me close this window here. That's Destiny's screen right there. So, when I started reading through the paper and the legislation started coming through and seeing all the things that Ron DeSantis had done, I couldn't keep up with it. I had something to talk about every day. You can ask people, they'll be like, yeah, Nay has discussed Ron DeSantis like nonstop on this show. You go through my Twitter feed and you just type in fascist, hashtag fascist or hashtag fascism. Type them both in and then type both of them in. Try that too. And look at Nave's Garden, and you will see all of my tweets about Ron DeSantis and fascism here in the state of Florida.
When the Muslims in America find out what he did in Guantanamo, his political career is over.
Yes, but I think when you understand Ron DeSantis' work as a whole, and I don't think Destiny has really accepted all of Ron DeSantis' work as a whole. So, I've got a little bit of stuff here. This is all the newspapers for the last few months. And after we talk about Ron DeSantis, usually I take the newspapers and maybe some grape stuff and some napkins too. Get thrown in the mix. Grapevine stuff. What else is in there? It's all good stuff, right? Here. This is a good one right here. This is today's, I believe. We can just start with that. Number one. DeSantis said to announce candidacy, right? That's good, right? Group asked to pause Medicaid purge. But wait, what is this right here? What's this? Here it is. Sasso appointed to Florida Supreme Court. Pick by DeSantis. Do you know how many of those there are in here? You know, how many people that DeSantis has removed from office, how many people DeSantis has installed in office. So we could go through, oh, here's a few comic sections. I should probably get rid of those. You could just grab a random front page. DeSantis conceals travel records. You know, there's nothing fascist about someone hiding their whereabouts. So I guess that's okay, you know. This is a nice one. I don't know. This doesn't sound fascist at all, man. DeSantis ramps up executions. And there he is with that clown-ass bitch lobotomy. Fucking clown-ass bitch. We got some real winners here, don't we? Let's see what else we got here. Let's just go way to the bottom here. Let's see what we got down here. This is an interesting one because it's not open to the main page. Let's see if we could do that. Just a random selection here from the archive. Let's see what this one says. Here we go. Here's a good one. Look at this. It's a random one. Here, wait for this. Look at this. Is DeSantis' Disney fight tarnishing his GOP star? Let's hope so. Let's find one in the middle. Just grab a random one in the middle. Here we go. This one right here. What's this one got? Huh. Lawmakers okay bill to void Disney deal. Nice. Let's grab another one. Okay, this is one that's not even open to that page.
Arafat Nakba. DeSantis is just a puppet acting for the twisted American system, which is almost completely corrupt now.
Let's see what this one's got on it. Hey, here's a great one. You're going to love this one. Nothing fascist about this, guys. Lawmakers approve voter restrictions. Controversial election bill also clears way for DeSantis to run for president. Nice, huh? So he restricts the rights of voters. You know, I guess, wow. The Destiny crowd,
Arafat
most
Nakba
of them left.
Looked like JJ Jimmy Walker.
Before I
from
got
Good
to show,
Times there
go
for a
through
sec.
some of these, but you know, there's plenty more. That's what this stack is. And I'm gonna go through. I'm gonna get out anything that's really not related, like the comic sections and stuff that are in there.
Josh G. I've already forgot why morons even like DeSantis with all the shameful things he's done.
That's a sports one. We'll get rid of that one right now. Let's start with that. We'll work our way through it. You know? So, I mean, I appreciate Destiny's opinion. I do. I just feel like he states an opinion on something he doesn't have a lot of information about. And I offer to give him all that information about Ron DeSantis. I'll tell him exactly who he can follow on Twitter and catch up with all of the reporting on what DeSantis has done to the state of Florida that is based in fascism. He can just check out at Nays Garden on Twitter.
Johnny's military service. The only DeSantis I cared about was Stanley, great t-shirt maker and character actor I worked for.
Huh. Like JJ Jimmy Walker from Good Times there for a second. God, I can't believe we've been live for 2 hours. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you guys tomorrow, okay? If you guys could share this around, get more people here, whatever, I'd appreciate it. I'm at Nays Garden on Twitter. So I will see you at Nays Garden on Twitter. All right, thanks for watching, guys. Bye-bye.